My name is Sean Gibbs. Welcome to Domestic and Dating Violence, Knowing the Differences and Understanding the Effects. In the state of Rhode Island, domestic can be added to 17 crimes. Here they are listed. I won't list them all, but they vary from assault to homicide to arson to electronic tracking of a motor vehicle. Who is involved with domestic violence cases? Family, household members, spouses, former spouses, adults related by blood or by marriage, or adults who have lived together within the past 3 years. People with a child in common also are considered domestic, as well as people who have had a substantial relationship within the past year. What happens when a domestic issue is reported? An arrest is made, first of all. Second of all, a no contact order is put in place that is signed by a judge immediately. Third, a case is opened from the state of Rhode Island against the offender. This protects the victim from having to testify in court against their abuser, which can also often be very difficult for victims. Finally, if the people involved were living together, they have to move out, and this move will be facilitated by a police officer. Dating violence, on the other hand, is a bit different. It's non-physical, and it often never gets punished by law. This is very dangerous for victims because the effects are very similar to that of domestic violence, if not the exact same. Some examples are economic control, when you control the funds of your partner because you don't want them to go out, you don't want them to spend money anywhere, you don't want them to do anything. And that kind of goes hand in hand with isolation, which is another form of dating violence. Isolation takes place when somebody doesn't let their partner see their friends, their family, their coworkers, because they know that they are abusing their partner and they don't want their partner to go talking to anybody that they might need support from. Emotional abuse, verbal abuse, humiliation, and belittling are all also forms of dating violence. Effects on victims of both dating violence and domestic violence are very similar. This is why I don't really understand why they don't treat dating violence the same that they do domestic. Mental and emotional effects on victims can be present, such as anxiety, fear, depression, PTSD, withdrawal, change in mood or behavior, and loss of interest and even loss of appetite. Some physical and physiological effects of dating violence and domestic violence can be things like self-harm, weight loss, substance abuse, alcohol abuse, and actual signs of physical abuse such as bruises and scratches, etc. The cycle of abuse is also the same in dating and domestic violence situations. This is most likely true because of the fact that most people that domestically abuse their partners are also utilizing elements of dating violence as well. The cycle of abuse begins with an explosion, but for the sake of this lesson, I would like to start with the honeymoon phase, which follows an attack, and the dust seems to settle and everybody seems to be at peace. However, tension quickly builds where the tension phase is entered, and the victim understands that their abuser is most likely going to attack them pretty soon because of the fact that abusers continue over and over and over in this cycle abusing their partners. Finally, the explosion phase takes place, whether it is an attack of physical or non-physical nature, and it is utilized by the power and control that offenders have on their victims. In the United States, 1 in 4 women will be abused. We all know way more than 4 women. So we should all be very concerned about the cycle of abuse in domestic and dating violence situations. Every 12 seconds, a woman is beaten by either her husband or boyfriend. It's important to know the truth about dating and domestic violence. 30% of victims never even told one person. That's why it's on us to stop the violence. We can do this by utilizing the 3 Ds of bystander intervention, which are direct, delegate, and distract. To direct a situation, you can directly address the abuser or the couple and explain that you see what is happening and that it is wrong. You can delegate a situation by, if you're not comfortable directing it, by handing it over to somebody else that you know will direct it, for example, the police or a close friend or family member. You could even create a distraction if you see something taking place. For example, if you see people in an argument and it might seem like there's dating violence going on, you can just go up and say, hey, can you guys help me jump my car? Or hey, there's somebody over here that fell over, we need to go help them. There's many different ways that you can distract people from situations, but the point is that distraction can get away the victim from their abuser, and that's the main goal. Thank you so much for watching this presentation, and I hope you all learned something about domestic violence, dating violence, and bystander intervention, and how it can be used to end these practices of violence. Thank you very much.